So this new side is coming out of her. What are you thinking at that point? Are you just thinking, are you excusing her behavior, like maybe she's having a bad day, or are you starting to wake up a little bit and realize that you're in a bad situation?
I made excuses for it in the beginning. I was like, oh, well, I did up. Like, it's my fault. I deserved that. We were also taught in Kundalini teacher training about the Saturn teacher. So like Yogi Bhajan is a Saturn teacher. Guru Jagat's a Saturn teacher, which means the lessons are hard. You know, have you ever heard in astrology, like your Saturn return? So a Saturn teacher gives you the tough love and the tough
Got it.
lessons so that you grow. And so
it's for your benefit.
Exactly. So, you know, when we would get yelled at, we would call it like you're getting like an adjustment, like you're getting a spiritual adjustment. You should be so blessed to get yelled at by your spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
So I mean, I never liked getting yelled at. And
who does, right?
And I never thought it was a blessing. I just took it for a long time until I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, well, because you're so invested in this at this point as well.
Yeah.
And did you feel like you were growing spiritually at all?
You know, in the beginning, it felt like I was changing a lot. I changed my entire lifestyle. I stopped drinking. I went vegetarian. I was doing all this yoga and meditation all the time. So I felt good in the beginning. Then it's sort of, I don't know, like after a year of that, it just became this kind of hamster wheel that I couldn't get off of, where I was constantly obsessing like, oh, did I do enough meditations today? Did I get my meditation in today?
Yeah.
With the dynamic being in the inner circle of this cult, I was just constantly oscillating between fear and like, you know, don't want to make Guru Jagat mad. I have to be perfect. So that sent me into hyperdrive of just like constantly working. And I think I worked a lot to kind of like numb a lot of what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And also Kundalini yoga, it completely makes you disassociated from your feelings.
Oh, really?
Yes. And every Yogi Bhajan says, emotion is commotion. And so it's like when you have a strong emotion, that's a cue for you to like go meditate. Fists of anger, there's like meditations for sadness, for grief.
So was this a way to actually regulate yourself or just to blanket cover it up? Like toxic positivity, just pretend it isn't there?
It was kind of like a mixture of both. I think a lot of toxic positivity. So you should see some of these like Kundalini people if you ever go to like Solstice or something in New Mexico. The perfect Kundalini is like, they're just very robotic and they just are like, hi, like very vacant and, you know, no emotions. We're above it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. Yeah. The spiritual bypassing was off the charts.
Yes. And then within your group, was there sort of like a spiritual hierarchy? Like, I'm more spiritual than you should be meditating more. Was there that type of language?
Yes. I mean, it was, there was just like a lot of like low key, you know, I woke up for sadhana this morning. I did my 2.5 hours. I was always kind of envious of those people. I was like, they must be progressing faster than me because they can wake up at 4 a.m. and I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. So how did that translate into the workplace? Did you feel less than or put down by any of your coworkers, or was everyone on the same team? What was that environment like together?
I had really strong bonds with everybody. I loved everybody that I worked with. I miss some of them. We had great friendships and we were like in the trenches together.
Yeah.
But we did throw each other under the bus constantly because we were so scared of Guru Jagat and we didn't want to be the one to get put in the hot seat when, you know, and it was complete chaos. There were balls dropping all the time. It was just, there's so much work happening and like with her travel schedule and like all the classes we had. And it's like, and we were a very small team handling all of that. And things were changing constantly. And at the end of the day, there was always somebody getting yelled at. We called it Rama drama.
What were some of the things that she demanded of her employees? that like a normal boss shouldn't be demanding of.
But I mean, we were supposed to be perfect. We were supposed to be constantly thinking about her, working to like make her money. If she was in town, we were expected to spend time with her, be around her constantly. I think she really fed off of our energy. I really feel like she wanted to be like worshipped constantly.
Did she view herself as someone to be worshipped, like a god?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah, I remember her saying one time in a meeting, because Alicia Keys was her student, she was like, Alicia should really be doing more for me. Like she should really understand what the teacher-student relationship is. And if she did, she would be posting about me and like doing more for me.
Entitlement.
Yeah.
Because she felt like she was on a different plane than everybody else.
Yes.
So you had mentioned to me before this little secret that was announced in a staff meeting.
Yes. So in 2020, things were really like was hitting the fan because of the pandemic. And then a memoir came out written by one of Yogi Bhajan's students, Premka. The memoir is called White Bird in a Golden Cage.
Right.
And
I was just doing research on that. And now I'm connecting all the dots in my head. Sorry,
yes.
I just had an aha moment.
So when this book came out, it was like the floodgates opened. Suddenly, all of these other women and people were coming forward with their stories of abuse by Yogi Bhajan. And our clients at Rama were like, when are you going to make a statement? What do you guys have to say about this? For a really long time, Guru Jagat was like, we're not going to say anything. Just like, if anyone comments anything on our social media, just delete and block, delete, block. And she thought it was just going to go away, and it wasn't going away. And so that was happening, stressful. And then pandemic, and then all the studios are closed. You know, we have to like pivot everything to online and digitize everything. A lot of the employees were furloughed and then told to get on pandemic unemployment assistance because there was a lot of people were getting on unemployment and the government was getting out money. Guru Jagat instructed a lot of people to do that and then keep working while they were getting unemployment.
What?
And what's funny is a lot of them were making more money on unemployment than they were.
Oh no.
So, because there were so many people like trying to get on unemployment at the same time, the employees like were like, what? Like they were broke. And then so anyway, morale was like very, very low. Everyone's freaking out. So Guru Jagat decides to have this clearing the air call. And she gets this family constellation therapist to have this Zoom call with us. And it's not a real therapist. A family constellation therapist, from what I understand, is them kind of going into the nervous system of each person and saying what's going on with them out loud to the group so it can be talked about and cleared. So we get on this Zoom call and the whole company is on this Zoom, and the family constellation therapist starts kind of like picking on people. She picks on me. I'm like one of the first people, and she goes, Charlotte has a glitch in her nervous system. Like if you could just clear that out, you'd be a lot more productive.